AITA for apparently being the reason my ex's engagement ended? I, 27 female, have a 6-year-old child with my ex, 29 male. We have been broken up since our child was 1. I have primary custody, and my ex sees our child 2 weekends a month. The reason for this is that my ex decided he didn't want to give up his whole life to be a parent, and he thinks every other weekend is enough. When we split, I hoped he'd eventually want to be more involved, but over the years it became clear that his idea of fatherhood was more of a hobby than a commitment. I should also note he doesn't always take his weekends and has let our child down in the past. More than once I've had to deal with a disappointed 6-year-old asking why daddy didn't show up again. 3 years ago he started dating someone else, and they got engaged in February of this year. I was genuinely happy for him at first, or at least, I thought I was. I figured maybe this would help him grow up a bit, take life more seriously, maybe even become a steadier presence in our child's life. But shortly after their engagement, things started getting weird. Out of nowhere, I began getting calls and texts from an unknown number. At first, I ignored them, thinking it was spam or maybe a wrong number. But the messages kept coming, and they weren't friendly. They said things like, "Answer the damn phone," or "Call me back," or "I'd like to meet up and figure this out." Eventually, I found out it was his fiancée. Apparently, he had told her that I'd be open to her coming over and taking my child out for the day, and he had given her my number so we could plan this. He never mentioned it to me once. It took entirely too long for me to piece together what was actually happening. I was completely blindsided. Getting a bunch of texts from a stranger demanding I let her take my kid for the day was definitely not something I expected or was okay with. When I finally answered one of her calls, she came across as confident, even pushy. She said she was set on taking my child out for the day and claimed my ex told her it was fine. I was stunned. I told her it was not okay, that I didn't know her, had never met her, and I wasn't about to hand my child over to someone I knew nothing about. Then, trying to stay civil, I suggested she make the most of the time my ex already had, that if she wanted to be involved, maybe she could spend time with them during his weekends. Apparently, that was not the answer she wanted. She got upset, and suddenly my ex started blowing up our co-parenting app with requests, one after another, asking me to let his fiancée take our child out, just for the day. It became a constant, irritating cycle of requests and reminders. By July, my ex told me I was saying no too much, and that I was ruining his relationship. He actually said that, as if protecting our child from being handed over to a stranger was the same thing as sabotaging his love life. Fast forward to last month, his fiancée ended their engagement. Out of nowhere, I got another text, this time from her, blaming me. She said she wasn't going to stay in a hostile environment, where she was treated like stranger danger, toward the child she was supposed to be the stepmother of. My ex, of course, blamed me too. He accused me of sabotaging his relationship, of chasing away potential stepmothers from our child's life. I told him, very calmly, that I didn't give a damn about his relationships. What I cared about was my child's safety and comfort. I reminded him that the only reason she thought she could take my child out alone was because he told her it was fine. He created that situation, not me, but instead of reflecting on that, he doubled down. Now he's been telling everyone that I broke them up. Some of his buddies have even made snide comments when they see me around town. It's exhausting. I think most people see through it, though, because, honestly, he's not a very involved father to begin with. The idea that I'd even care enough to sabotage his engagement is laughable. Still, not everyone agrees with me. A mom friend from my parenting group told me that, in her opinion, I did kind of sabotage his relationship. She said the woman was trying to get to know my kid and that I shut her down. She argued that once I knew who the fiancé was and what she wanted, I should have been more open to it. That conversation actually turned into a small fight. I asked her if she'd be okay with letting a stranger, someone she's never met, take her kid out alone just because her ex said it was fine. She said yes, she would, because she believes most single moms would love for their kids to have more adults who care about them. She even said it was my ego that ruined their relationship, that I couldn't stand the idea of my child having a stepmom. That stung. But honestly, I still think it's crazy to blame me for their breakup. My job is to protect my child and make sure they're comfortable, not to help my ex keep his fiancée happy. I don't think I was rude. I don't think I was unreasonable. I simply didn't trust someone I didn't know to take my kid away from me, so here I am, wondering if I really was the bad guy. I'm willing to be honest with myself and accept if people think I went too far. But from my point of view, this situation was never about ego. It was about safety, boundaries, and respect. So, what do you think? Did I really break up his relationship? AITA for saying no to her taking my kid for the day on my parenting time? I'm genuinely curious to hear what others think. Now tell me in the comments, AITA for being the reason my ex's engagement fell apart? And that's the video, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed hearing what Reddit had to say. I'll see you in the next one.